Hey, is your favorite thing to see on the battlefield your own reflection? Are you pretty willing to start a fight with anyone or anything that crosses your path?
Yo, Zan, get your boy, dog.
Well, congratulations! You might be a painkiller. But what is a painkiller? Well, find yourself some matte black armor, but see if you can get one of those tiny little air conditioners installed so you don't burn up down there, and feel free to let loose on all those poor peasants. We've got a reputation to uphold. Welcome to hell. And no, I'm not just being dramatic as an editor trying to wade through an ocean of AI slop. No, the real hell, the bad place, the long black train. A place of damned souls, tricky devils, and infernal schemers. But in times of hardship, none are more feared than the denizens of the city of Dis, where the painkillers reside. It's rare to see the army of hell called, but when it happens, it's the painkillers that lead the charge. Vain, terrible, and vicious, painkillers consider themselves to be master strategists as well as powerful enforcers. Cloaked in heavy armor and invoking hellish magic, painkillers have a twisted sense of gallantry, as taking down the mighty or the chivalrous in single combat is considered a point of pride, but they also have no qualms about cheating to win. But life for a painkiller is no easy job. Not only is strength and cruelty a must, your connection to Despater himself has made you insanely narcissistic. Full of pride and hubris, a painkiller not only rests their laurels on battles won, but also their personal appearance. As crazy as it may seem, a painkiller may take a slight against their hairdo as seriously as a dig on their combat prowess, so be careful with those vicious mockeries. But when the chips are down, there's a reason why hell leans on the painkillers first. They are ruthlessly efficient, single-minded in their mission, and prideful to a fault. But also the reason this city is so feared.
We built this city on rock and roll.
But first, you know they say variety is the spice of life, and lucky for us, Magic sure loves to keep things interesting, especially with Wild Magic Reimagined, the best way to introduce a little chaos to your table. Wild Magic Reimagined includes 700 effects that you can add to anything from mundane encounters to extreme boss battles. Each effect has 3 variations: a boon, a balance, or a curse, and these cards are structured to grow with the players to keep chaos an ever-present enticement. But if you need something even more insane, GM exclusive calamities can restructure an entire campaign in the blink of an eye. You can also integrate any or all of this set yourself as the GM or as a player with unique subclasses like the Chaos Theorist Wizard or the Dread Bargainer Warlock to get the dice rolling. But for your own copy of Wild Magic Reimagined, make sure to hit that link below and support the Kickstarter right now. But act fast, as even more incredible stuff like the world's Sunderer Tarask, like a reality-bending kaiju, that's awesome, is right there in the stretch goals. Just make sure to hit that link below to tell them Yimba sent ya. A huge thanks to Wild Magic Reimagined for sponsoring the show. And now, back to the video. So some smartass bard said your armor was out of season and you want to show them down personally through the gates of hell. Where would you get started? Well, I don't know about you, but I'd start as an Illrigger. Illriggers are hellish knights sworn to the Order of Desolation, an ancient contract that essentially said that the Knights of Hell would quit punching each other and start punching other people. Good guys, mostly. But to take over the world, you probably need to first understand it, so our hell magic will provide us with a forked tongue. Obviously, we can speak, read, and write Infernal. We don't want to miss a missive from Dis, that would be dismissive. But we can also speak, though not write, 2 additional languages, and we can replace one of those languages on each long rest if we need to. As we level up, we get 3 languages from this ability and gain advantage on insight checks to see if people are lying. So basically, all insight checks. That's cool. But sometimes you gotta skip the chit-chat, especially if these peasants keep cowering. So when it's time to fight, we'll turn to our signature ability, the Baleful Interdict. And this move is complicated, so I'll attempt to keep things brief. Essentially, every Illrigger is a big fan of seals. And now once per turn, when we land an attack or spend a bonus action on a creature within 30 feet, we can mark that creature with a seal to make them interdicted. When an interdicted creature takes damage from any source, whether it be you, a friend, or a really stubborn pickleball injury, you can burn that seal to deal 1d6 fire or necrotic damage. So while that mighty paladin may fight with honor, you fight with dishonor. Second level means we are a combat master and can pick up some devilish tricks to win the day, and I like either lies or brutal here, letting you focus your charisma modifier for attacks and damage rolls with a melee weapon, or push dudes around with a two-handed weapon. Either way, we're making sure to bully our foes into submission, which we call dismantling. Level 2 also means interdicted boons, which act a little bit like Eldritch Invocations, but give us permanent buffs that we can carry with us into battle. For you at this level, Soul Eater is pretty sweet, giving you temporary hit points equal to your Illrigger level anytime you burn a seal on an interdicted creature, a perfect defensive move for a frontline fighter, and an even better way to show your loyalty to Dis. And everybody knows we are disloyal. Speaking of which, our loyalty to the man downstairs comes to full fruition at level 3, when we officially become a Painkiller. With Dispater's Blessing, we gain proficiency in heavy armor, so we're way better at tanking damage from incoming attacks. But we also gain the ability Devastator, and this shit is wild. Once per day while making an attack, we can call on our allies to follow our lead and make a combination attack with us. Each creature we call up to our proficiency bonus within 30 feet can then spend their reaction to make an attack or cast a spell only by spending a reaction. Meaning if you call on the paladin by your side, they can lay down a smite, but calling out to the wizard means they can throw down a fireball. This is basically a huge volley to either start a fight or end one with a huge burst of team coordination. You see, we can be nice, as long as murder's involved. We also gain our Invoke Hell ability for 2 new ways to bring the pain. With Grand Strategist, you can again call to allies within 60 feet, allowing them to move up to half their speed without provoking opportunity attacks. And because this action is free, we can use this to get everyone in position to set up that Devastator attack. Or we can throw down some punishment, forcing a creature hit with one of our attacks to make a wisdom save or take extra damage equal to the damage already dealt by the attack. So save this for those big heavy crits. I like that. In fact, I like this. Some could say I dislike it. 5th level means extra attack for 2 attacks per round and 2 chances to place a seal, which now deals 2d damage on every burn. But it's once again 6th level where we pick up the Infernal Conduit. This ability is crazy and there's a lot to it, but in the broad strokes you basically get a pool of d10s, a bit like a paladin's lay on hands. However, you can spend them to either invigorate your allies or devour your foes. If you invigorate, you take damage and then give them the hit points, but if you devour, they take damage and you regain hit points. But either way, somebody's getting hurt. 7th level gives us another interdicted boon, so why not grab Shadow Shroud to get an extra 2 on your AC, or Conflagrant Channel to teleport by spending a seal. But we also get a boon straight from Dispater himself with Telekinetic Seal. So when a creature you see moves within 5 feet of you, you can spend a reaction to place a seal on them and force a wisdom save or shove them 15 feet or knock them prone. And why does that feel familiar? I just can't put my finger on it. But anyway, we're going to speed things up for a bit because 10th level lets us pay the blood price, letting us roll our own hit die to add to a failed saving throw. Can't be looking bad in front of the boys. We become a terrorizing force at level 11, letting us add a d8 of cold fire, necrotic, or poison damage to all attack rolls, and our seal damage increases to 3d6. But we also gain the order you die on my command. Now if we're with an ally within 30 feet that's been dropped but not killed outright, we can spend our reaction to bark and order at them to stay up through sheer force of will. That creature remains at 1 hit point and stays in the fight, and we don't even have to admit we actually like these guys. Level 13 is here and we get even more boons. For our regular one, Dis's Onslaught. Dis? Onslaught? No. Dis's Onslaught allows us to make an attack on the same bonus action that we move or place a seal, giving us even more ways to do damage. But we'll also grab one straight from Dispater yet again with By the Throat. So on that same bonus action we used to move a seal, you can also attempt to restrain a creature on a failed saving throw by grabbing them by the throat, and also make that attack from Dis's Onslaught. Wait, do these stack? Oh my god, I think they do. Which means you can then use the rest of your action to do all your attacks at advantage. I swear, they must have taken this from something. It feels way too familiar. Oh yeah! Level 14 gives us superior interdict, so you can do even more damage with seals as they bypass resistances to fire and necrotic damage, but that means it's time for our final painkiller ability, the Death Strike. Now anytime we land a hit on an interdicted creature, you can spend your reaction to burn one of those seals to immediately turn that hit into a critical hit. And we also double the damage on the seal that we just burned. So not only can we do this 5 times a day, or 6 at level 17, combine this with our Invoke Hell ability, Punishment, and we're doing critted damage twice on one attack. Oh my god, that is just disrespectful. And I'm not even making a pun this time. That is actually just dis-fucking respectful. But we're somehow not done, because level 17 gives us the Infernal Majesty, letting us channel hell as a bonus action and giving us a huge amount of buffs, like resistance to cold and necrotic damage, giant wings, and a 60-foot flying speed, extra damage to enemies when we pay the blood price, and terrorizing force gains another d8 of damage, but we also just don't die anymore, but instead get to go home if we're supposed to. I guess being a Knight of Hell has its perks, and showing up in your office naked after a tough fight is one of them. Level 18 means we get our last Dissipator boon with Dissipator Supremacy, letting us score crits on interdicted creatures on an 18 through a 20. Not that we needed to, we could literally do it for free. And we also get another regular boon, but I don't know, man, just take your pick. You're kind of already broke it. Which brings us to our capstone at level 20 as a Master of Hell. Being a member of the top brass is incredibly sweet, but comes with the added bonus of being able to literally open portals to hell to destroy armies at will. As an action, you can point to a position within 150 feet, and in a 50-foot radius, you throw down an Inferno, a Pestilence, or Darkness. Depending on which one you feel like that day, they'll either take 5d10 fire and 5d10 necrotic and be subjected to hellish burns, 5d10 poison and 5d10 necrotic and then be poisoned, or 10d10 cold and be completely blinded. And you can do this every day. Yikes. But does the Painkiller ease my aching heart? The Painkiller is actually fucking insane. I thought the other Illriggers on this list were nuts, but somehow adding in heavy armor and some tossing baddies around, and this slowly morphed into a hell-themed Darth Vader cosplay, and somehow I'm here for it. The Painkiller to me also feels even more like the anti-paladin that this class seems to go for, and I think that's actually super cool. Unlike a straight-up evil paladin like a Conquest or an Oathbreaker, you're like a weird, dark reflection of a paladin with hellish magic. Also, to me, the abilities on this one work way better together than the Architect of Ruin or the Hellspeaker. I imagine the Painkiller may have been the first one designed, or perhaps just the one with the most love put into it, because all of your abilities line up in really cool ways. Combine this with your heavy armor and your boons, and you have the potential to not only deal the most damage, but also take the most hits out of anyone in the group. Death Strike combined with Infernal Majesty is actually cracked. With a greatsword, that's like 46 plus 8d6 from the seal, plus 48 from terrorizing force, plus strength and magic damage, and then you can add punishment to double that. Jesus. Anyway, all the Illriggers are pretty good, but this one may be the best. I like how much it reintegrates into itself. I really like the flow of the abilities and how they progressively get better, and I think it may be one of my favorite mixed martials to come out recently. It's wild, it's incredible, and I am in disbelief. But if you have a hard time not getting distracted by how pretty you are, or trying not to get sued by the House of Mouse for plagiarizing your entire aesthetic, and can't believe we made it through this entire video without a single Tylenol joke, shit. Guess what? You might be a painkiller. Hey guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure you do the like, comment, and subscribe thing, and hype, whatever that is, really helps out the channel. But if you really like what I do, make sure to head on over to the Patreon where you can get your name up here with all these cool people for just a single $1, with top-tiered patrons getting games DM'd by me. So to those guys, Tedzy, Sorasin, Spider Lover, Miles Yards, King Osiris, John Spees, Copper Dragon, Epic Medic, Spellslinger, and Yuki, you all are the best. To everyone else, thanks for sticking around to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.